Hi, I'm Lisa and I'm from Affordable Staff, and today I have the pleasure of having a chat with the business owner and head of department for Harcourts Ballarat. Hi team, how are you?
Good, thanks.
Very
How are
well,
you?
thank you.
Very good, very good. So firstly I'd like to say thank you very much for your time. It's been an experience in getting to know both of you over many, many years. But to give some context for any of our viewers, Peter, you're the business owner?
Yep, one of.
One
Yes.
of. So you've purchased the business a number of years ago.
Yes.
And Lauren, you've been with the business for how long?
Nearly 6 years.
Nearly 6 years. Department head?
Yeah.
Where did you start in real estate?
Where?
When?
11, nearly 12 years ago
Great.
as a receptionist.
And you've worked your way up
Yeah.
through the different ranks of property management?
Yeah.
So you both would have seen a number of changes during that time frame?
Lots of changes.
Lots of
Yeah,
changes.
Lots of changes.
Very good.
Some by design, some by default.
Yes. Very good. Now, we met a number of years ago, initially from a business owner conference or meeting, and you looked at outsourcing very high level. Back then, what was your perception of outsourcing?
I probably didn't have a perception of outsourcing other than the wrong perception as it turned out, in that sort of outsourcing was all about call centres or
Yes.
or sort of abdication of responsibility, I suppose, was one of my perceptions about outsourcing,
Yes.
which in fact is not what you guys do.
So when we started talking again you initially found out about outsourcing a number of years ago, and then a year ago or thereabouts, you
Yep.
reached out to revisit outsourcing.
Yep.
At that stage, what were you looking to achieve?
I guess it was, perhaps it's worth going back a little bit in that when I first met Damien and he spoke to a group of business owners about Affordable Staff and what they did,
Yes.
it just tweaked the possibility of what might be possible.
Yes.
We then, after we bought the business, we had a really good young lady working for us who met somebody, and they lived 2.5, 3 hours away from Ballarat, and
Yes.
she wanted to go and live with this young man that she met, and we really didn't want to lose her from the business, so we actually started her working off-site. So effectively we outsourced her work to
Yes.
Portland in Victoria,
Yes.
where we made that work. So she worked from Portland for a couple of years.
Yes.
Off-site, she would come to the office maybe 1 or 2 days every 2 or 3 weeks.
Yes.
She then met another young man who lived on the other end of the state, but we just ported her work to her new location. So when COVID hit, we'd already had the experience of working somebody not in our office,
Yes.
but doing all the jobs that she used to do in our office, but just doing them remotely. Set her up with a full computer system, so basically she had wherever she was, she had access to all the tech,
Yes.
everything she needed, and she'd pop into the office every now and then just to touch base and maybe have a day or two in the office to tie up a few loose ends. So we knew it could work.
Yes.
So I think COVID was probably the thing that changed everybody's mindset. And from our point of view in property management, we all had to go and work from home. So,
Yes.
and being in Victoria, it was lockdown, not lockdown, lockdown again, not lockdown. We got sick and tired of packing up our computers.
Came very quick at it.
Yeah, well, that's right.
Yes.
Like, it was literally, we did become really good at it because a couple of those lockdowns we got 24 hours notice. So it was, right, guys, in you come, get your gear, pack them all in your car, off you go, see you whenever.
Yes.
But we would have a Zoom meeting, and in those first couple of lockdowns, we had a Zoom meeting every day.
Yes.
We would check in with each other every day, first thing in the morning. Some of them would be in their pajamas, they'd have the dog on their lap, have a coffee. It didn't matter. That was more about checking in on people rather than the work.
Yes.
But we soon realised we could do it from home, which then opened up the opportunity, well, if we can do that from home, why can't we do it from somewhere else in the world? Which that led to that, well, we need some extra support.
Yes.
So rather than trying to find somebody with experience during COVID who we can't even meet face to face. That led to me contacting you and saying, okay, let's take the next step.
Let's have a look.
And that was sort of in probably April of 2021, and here we are 14 months later, and
Yes.
it's working really well.
So you've gone through the transition where you've been able to identify that outsourcing and communicating remotely with your team led you through to outsourcing through affordable staff. So when you were looking at options for outsourcing, was there a reason, or what was the reason for you choosing affordable staff?
Probably two, and they were fairly fundamental, basic reasons. Number one, I'd already met
Yes.
Damien
Yes.
and yourself
Yes.
in previous times, and even in different spots and different jobs. But also the fact that there were a couple of really good referrals from current operations that were using affordable staff. So to be honest, Lisa, we didn't even really look at any other options.
Yes.
It was just you guys ticked all the boxes.
Fantastic.
And I think made it seem there was never a feeling of, well, what have we got ourselves into, or we've signed up for this and now we're left to sort it out or to learn how to do it. And the reality is that all I did was make the decision, let's have a go at this. Lauren is the one who has actually done 99% of the work in working with the VAs.
Yes.
Implementing the systems, and really importantly, getting buy-in from her staff.
Yes.
Like, that's been such a key part of it.
is.
The acceptance from those guys that this is a good thing, and that comes down to the fact that the level of work that's done, particularly by Kay in the first instance,
Yes.
was at such a high, efficient level
Yes.
that all the property managers have gone,
That they love her.
like, she is a godsend, and how did we do our job before? So
Yes.
that made it really easy. So that the transition was so simple. From my perspective anyway, it was simple.
Yes.
I know it probably wasn't simple from Lauren's perspective, and I actually know how much work she put in behind the scenes, after hours, night times. She put in heaps of work.
Yes.
But the processes were already there from your
Yes.
end.
Yes.
So all we had to do was tweak our systems
Yes.
to fit your processes, or probably more tweaking your processes to fit our systems. We didn't actually have to change anything.
No.
We just had to have a different mindset as to what tasks are we going to get done by the VA,
Yes.
and what are we going to keep within the office.
Perfect. And that actually leads into the next thing I'd love to find out. Initially, when we started talking, we were looking at the property management space, and we implemented very successfully a full-time VA assisting the property management team. So, back to that initial conversation. What was the initial objective? What was the initial objective behind implementing somebody with property management?
Was?
Just the unknown. Like, the property managers didn't know what to expect. Neither did I. But
I guess the ultimate aim or the goal was to free up time, rather than employing more property managers and
Yes.
diluting our talent pool, because they're hard to find. Pardon me.
You're right.
Rather than trying to find more property managers to work in Ballarat in our office, or bringing in people who are already in the industry who, they invariably seem to come with baggage and problems that they've already got, and they bring them to a new workplace, because
Yes.
often it's not the job that's the problem, it's the person doing the job. So we wanted to reduce the reliance, I suppose, on our guys having to do the repetitive, albeit important, but repetitive systemisable tasks, which then frees time up for them to actually spend time on the things that really make a difference, because those tasks have to be done
Yes.
regardless. So if they can then spend more time dealing with the people behind the properties, the landlords and the tenants, and the contractors who are doing the maintenance work, and building those relationships.
Yes.
The properties themselves, they don't care who does the repetitive tasks.
No.
They don't have feelings, but the people who own the properties do. So that was the aim, was to free up time for our current staff to be able to do more of those personal things rather than getting bogged down in paperwork, data entry and those type of jobs.
Perfect. So far, it's been over 12 months since implementing your first VA. I think we're at 3 now. What have been the benefits so far with the property management virtual assistants? And I know we've got 2 in there, one helping out with property management tasks, and we've got another looking after compliance and social media and the array of things that they do. But what have been the standout benefits to the business so far?
The standout benefits from where I would see them is just relieving our property managers,
Yes.
most of whom are quite young, so they're still learning where they fit into the whole system and the world, and they're not born with great communication skills, and they're not born with all this knowledge. You gain that over time, but it's given them time and extra time to develop those skills rather than getting so bogged down and weighed down and pressurised by the stuff that just has to be done.
Yes.
So I think it's made them happier.
Perfect.
It's made them able to manage more properties than they would have otherwise, which in turn has increased their ability to earn, because we actually pay our property managers quite differently to what most offices do. I think they're actually paid on a performance and commission basis on top of their salary. I think it's done wonders for our retention,
Yes.
and I think the other undeniable part of it is from a business perspective, it's actually helped our profitability.
Fantastic. When you reference retention of your staff,
Yeah.
which
Well,
I think we could.
and by retaining the staff, we retain the management.
Yes.
Because I think the biggest challenge when a property manager leaves is the upheaval that causes with some of the owners of the properties,
Yes.
who take that opportunity to look elsewhere,
Yes.
because they think, well, if I've got to change property manager, why don't I look at changing property managers full stop, as in the office. So
Yes.
by not having that rotation of staff, I think it's really helped us maintain our consistency with our owners.
That's a huge asset. I speak with agencies every single day, and one of the big, and I'm sure it's not just in our industry, but staff retention or even staff attribution, refining new staff is the biggest problem. So you've found a really a big benefit in outsourcing to be able to aid retention.
To aid retention and reduce the need to go and find new staff.
Yes.
So
That's fantastic.
It's a key thing, and it costs us a lot of time and money.
So when it comes to outsourcing and implementing a new team member through Affordable Staff, have you found any limitations as such as yet?
There's limitations on we don't get our VAs to speak to clients, but that's probably really the only thing, is that they don't actually pick up a phone or anything.
Yes.
Everything else that the processes that we've created are exactly the same as what we do in the office.
Yes. So when if you were to compare employing a local administration person and compare that to your experience with a virtual assistant, do you think there's any limitations internally as far as being able to train them or communicate with them?
No, it's really easy when you are implementing processes, because you guys just record the Zoom meeting of me doing something, and then you create a Trello board for the VA that way, and that's all you really have to do. It's
Fantastic.
really easy.
Yeah, I'd have to jump in there and say that the training from where I sit and what I see the end result of
Yes.
is that your guys learn so quickly, and at such a detailed level,
Yes.
that it would be very hard for us to find somebody to work at that level of efficiency and detail in the office. Like they would be right up there if
they ever make a mistake, once you point it out, I don't think it ever happens again.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I'll compliment that in saying that communication is the key, and it's one of the things that we always talk to a new client when they're considering outsourcing, communication and relationship, and you're been a pillar of how that's best done. So you've done very, very well.
Yeah, we do genuinely treat the VAs as any other member of staff. Like they are as important, as valuable, as respected as anybody working in our office building. Like that's because they deliver so much efficiency. Like the efficiency is remarkable.
It is, and I think that probably because our team don't have the office distractions that your team do.
Yeah, we actually say that if we didn't talk so much in the office, we would get a lot more done.
Chatter's okay. I think you're spread so thin. You've got constant emails coming in, you've got maintenance requests, you've got somebody wanting you at reception. So to have a team member through Affordable Staff without those distractions, you're always going to have a heightened level of efficiencies just because they don't have those distractions. And I'd like to think that Affordable Staff or a virtual assistant would empower them to be able to relax when they're in those situations where they've got a landlord wanting to see them at the front desk, because we've hopefully taken away as much as we can from them.
You know that they're taking care of whatever tasks you've assigned them.
Yeah, when you know those basic fundamentals are being done, regardless of what else is going on, it does bring a level of being able to relax and just know that even if everything fell apart in the office on a particular day, the thing wouldn't collapse because underneath the surface, it's all still happening. We can then deal with the crisis, get over it, and pick up the pieces again and move on. Whereas in an office environment, if there is something happens, or even if somebody's sick, everything stops. Whereas in this instance, the basics just keep going. So
that's good. You have touched on it a little bit, but how have the team gone with working with a team member that's not sitting next to them?
Really good. So the first day that Kay started with us, just to, I guess, break the ice, I got Kay to share photos of her dogs.
Lovely.
Cats. Jose has a ridiculous amount of dogs, actually. So got Kay to send through photos of her cats, and then we posted photos in teams of our animals and our pets.
Well, that sounds like a nice warm welcome.
Yeah.
Again, Lauren's done a great job in incorporating the VAs into the team, and because of the job they do and how well they do it, the rest of the team have embraced them with open arms. Like they just love the fact that they're on board. So it's nice challenging sometimes with the differences in cultural differences.
Yes.
I've never been to the Philippines. They've never been to Australia. So there's things that we don't sort of know and understand. But again, you guys have been really good in explaining some of those things.
Yes.
I'd love one day to be able to jump on a plane and take Lauren and some of the others and go and meet these guys face to face. Like that's how we feel about,
I think that we should definitely put that on the agenda, and we will host you over there.
The cultural differences, like I guess the conversations are just different. When I was speaking to Jose the other day, I just said, like, how are you going? And he thought I was asking, where are you in your work? Like, what are you doing? Like, how many more properties do you have left to do for the compliance? Not like,
how are you? Yes, but it's a good learning experience for everybody, and they're getting exposed to our ways, and we get exposed to theirs, and it's certainly working.
Sounds perfect. Now, if you were speaking to somebody that was in the early days of considering outsourcing, what advice would you give to them?
Just make sure you speak to them on a daily basis and keep that communication up so they're engaged, and because you don't want them to leave and then have to retrain another VA.
Yes.
Yeah, no different than any other staff member. My advice would be that if you are thinking about it, then don't think about it. Just I'm not saying go out tomorrow and employ a VA, but start the conversation. Gather the information, ask the questions, talk to other business owners, ring us if you want to. But you know, there's others that are using affordable staff and using them really effectively. The model works. My cynicism is gone, and well, you know, the fact that now within 12 months we've gone from none to 3. And you know, it's quite possible by this time next year we might have 4 or 5. Quite honestly, that could well be the case. So, you know, they can't do everything, but that's not the aim.
Yes.
The aim is to do the things that can be done, and they actually do them better than we can do them in the office, which leaves us to concentrate on the people things.
Lovely. Well, I'm going to say a very big thank you, Lauren and Peter, for your time. I really, really appreciate having your support. So thank you. And thank you for the offer for anybody that would like to have a chat with you.
No worries at all. You're welcome. Thanks, Lisa.
For any viewers that would like to know more information, please jump on our website, www.affordablestaff.com.au, and I'd love to have a chat to explore what we can do to help your business.